Hi, it's Lori Neverman from Common Sense Home, and I'm going to show you how to make hard lotion bars. Now, if you're not familiar with hard lotion bars, what they are is a bar that looks something like a bar of soap, but it's actually lotion. And they're made with just 3 ingredients, and they're hard at room temperature, but then they melt against your skin. And I really like them because they're so easy to make. One, they're really moisturizing and durable, so it doesn't just you smear it on and then 10 minutes later your hands are dry. And they smell great, especially with this combination of ingredients. So what we have here to start is equal parts of beeswax, and in our case I have this 5-pound block of beeswax that I got from a local apiary that we've been carving on for some years, and my son chiseled off a bunch of that. You can also buy beeswax in little pastilles, which are really super easy to use, or you can get it in little bricks like this. And then I have a friend who uses her salad shooter to grate hers, but just pops these little sticks right in the shooter. But my son grated mine up nicely with a knife, and that makes it melt really quickly and nicely. And then we have about a cup of cocoa butter, and this is actually, officially, according to the container, it says 4 ounces, but when you chop it up, it measures out closer to a cup. So we've got our cup of beeswax, cup of cocoa butter, and finally a cup of oil. And in this case, I'm using unrefined coconut oil because I like the moisturizing qualities of that. And it's also antifungal, antibacterial, which is nice. And it smells good. You got chocolate, you got coconut. And the beeswax even has just that little sweetness, like a honey sweetness, because it's not filtered other than whatever it takes to get it out of the comb. So these smell really nice. It smells great in here. I wish you could get a sniff, but you'll just have to go with me on this or make your own. Anyway, so we have our stuff, and I'm going to pour the cocoa butter and our beeswax. I packed this in here pretty good, so I'm gonna dig that back out again. And you know, the recipe's pretty forgiving. If you live down south, you might want a little more beeswax to try and stabilize it, because beeswax melts at around 145. The cocoa butter melts at around body temp, which is why that chocolate melts on your mouth and melts right on your tongue and feels and tastes so yummy. And the coconut oil melts at around 75 degrees. So you can play with the proportions a little bit to make your bar a little firmer or a little softer, whatever's a good fit for you. You can also use different types of oils, and you may want to even try different types of waxes if you're doing the whole vegan thing. One thing that the carnauba wax, which is one of the substitutes that's commonly used for beeswax, does have a higher melting point, so you want to use a little bit less, or it might take a little bit more to get that to melt nicely for you. Okay, we've got all 3 things in here, and next we're going to move over to the stove. Oh, one quick thing. All that I have to do with this is get these in here and get them melted down, and then we're going to pour them into our mold. And you can use, if you've got lip balm molds, this makes a great lip balm. I don't have any of those here today, but these are simple oval and round molds. These are silicone molds. This particular one I've got marked on the website. This will fit into an Altoids tin, so you can use a metal tin to carry these around, which is nice if you want to keep them in your purse. Or you can get funky shape molds. These ones I picked up at the craft store, but there's a ton of different shapes out there. And there's moon, stars, things like that. Or you can use something like the funky shaped ice cube trays or a muffin tin. You don't need to go out and buy special molds, but if you're doing a few bars for gift giving, or you just want to dress them up for yourself, you can get the molds. They're pretty inexpensive, under 10 bucks. Okay, next we're going to move over to the stove. Okay, here we are on the stove top, and I've got my stuff starting to get melty. I do use a heavy bottom pot, so you can see that's got the thick bottom, and I've got the simmer band on here because this is my high output burner. but it's also my most convenient burner for access. So I want to make doubly sure I don't overheat my oils and butters here and wax, because you can burn it. If you don't have a heavy bottom pot, you can use a double boiler, or you can make a double boiler by setting one pot inside of another one, or you can use an instant pot and just put it on the keep warm setting. Whatever you have that will allow you to heat up your materials gently without scorching is what you're looking for. And this is going to take a few minutes to melt, and I'm going to keep stirring this. I got my heat-proof spatula, and I'm going to stir this till all the loops disappear. The loops, all the loops disappear. I'm going to stir this till all the lumps disappear. And so it'll take a few minutes. We'll probably snip this out a little bit and come back when it's neatly melted and pouring in the pans. Okay, all of our ingredients are melted. You can see it's clear and uniform in color. And I'm going to fill these about 2/3 full, because I found that that's where they fit nicely inside of the tins. But you could fill them all the way up if you're not planning to put them inside of tins. I'm going to do a few of those, and I'm going to do a few of these, the shape molds, just to dress things up a little bit. Now if you were doing lip balms, you want to pour those halfway, let them set up a little bit, and then pour the rest in. But when you're doing simple shapes like this, you can go right ahead and fill the mold. And you can see 1 cup makes quite a few bars, and I've got a little bit more, so I'm going to squeeze that in over here. And these can go into the freezer and be ready in about 10 to 15 minutes, or you can just let them sit on the countertop until they cool completely. Here are our bars after they've had a chance to set up. I set these out on my porch where it was nice and chilly, and you can see poking these, they firmed up nicely. I'll set this aside, and then I'm going to pop these out of the mold. The silicone molds are really nice because it's so easy to get the bars out. You can see they come out just like nothing because you just flip the mold inside out. And these plastic molds are hard plastic molds, so you can use them, but you have to be a little bit more insistent to get these out. And I'm gonna see if I can give that a wiggle. There's one. So we're gonna cooperate. Yeah, 2, 3. What else is in here? I don't want to smack the ones that I've got out. I'm trying to get the next ones out. Okay, we're going to try this way. Okay, there they go. Boom. As I mentioned, when I was filling the molds, I didn't fill them entirely, so these bars were a little bit shorter than they could be. And that lets them fit really nicely inside the Altoids tins. And then you can just seal that up, and it can go in your purse or wherever. I do have printable labels that fit on Altoid size tins, and those are on the website. And it's nice maybe to label or differently package different bars for different people, because when I first started making these, my youngest really liked it so much that he'd get out of the shower and he'd rub the lotion bar all over himself, including in his armpits, and I was using the same bar for a lip balm, so that's not a good combination. Don't go there. To use the bars, all you have to do is just pick one up, and you can either rub it on your hands and then rub it on wherever you care to apply it, or rub it directly on the area and then soothe it in. And these are really nice. In a couple of minutes, this will be soft and smooth, and it will not feel tacky at all. And what I mentioned is also make a really nice lip balm too. But of course, you can put that in a lip balm tube, or in a small container. I've got some links on the site to different sizes and different shapes and things like that. So that is all there is to it. Just 3 ingredients. There's a little more detail and explanation on the website of different substitutions and things like that. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.